Hello parents and professionals. Today I'm going to be talking to you about how you get more responsibility out of a young person who is perhaps not taking as much responsibility as you would like them to. So if you would like to learn more about how to do that, then just keep on watching. Okay, so I'm going to share with you one very simple strategy, but I'm going to give you quite a bit of detail around this one so that you can easily put it into action as soon as you might like to. So the reason why it's important that we help young people to feel comfortable with taking responsibility is so that they improve their confidence around their decision making and can go on to become competent adults. It's super important that young people are given responsibilities that are appropriate to their age and stage of development. So what we sometimes find when we're working with young people therapeutically is that there are certain habits perhaps that the family has gotten into, or certain habits that exist in the classroom whereby a young person is not thriving in the way that we might like them to, and that there are almost some immaturities around their behaviour or how they deal with certain problems. And by giving them responsibilities, we often find that actually they step up, they grow to fill those shoes, and they start to create other problem-solving strategies off the back of that. So they're able to apply that learning in other areas of their life as well, which is super important. So what I'm going to share with you today is one key strategy that I use with parents, but could easily be applied in an education setting as well, where there is a young person who would benefit from maturing a little bit and taking on board some extra responsibilities. So an example could be a young person who does not easily go to sleep at night and who frequently comes downstairs and disrupts the rest of the family, who are trying to have, some alone time with the children in bed, and this child is just constantly disruptive throughout the night. So those sorts of patterns where, perhaps that child is 6, 7, 8 years old, where we might by that stage expect them to be able to self-soothe, I can never say that, self-soothe and get themselves back off to sleep again if they've woken up or haven't been able to get to sleep. If they're not doing it, then we need to have a chat with them, taking responsibility for that particular problem, so that we don't end up with parents who are laying beside their children at night time, patting their back, rubbing their tummy to get them to go to sleep, because that's not something that's going to be sustainable when they're 11, 12, 17, 18, 21, 25, 30, etc. All right, so let me tell you all about it. Here's what I suggest that you do. I suggest that you plan a meeting. And depending on the age of the child, you may refer to it as the insert age of child meeting. So for example, the 8-year-old meeting. And especially this works well if there are other siblings who frequently end up taking up time and energy, and your time is usually well divided between multiple young people. It's a really good idea that we do this 8-year-old chat, or however old they might be, on a one-to-one basis, because that tells them that this is something we're taking a bit more seriously. We're separating them from the rest of the group, the family, specifically to talk to them about this issue. Now, here's how I want you to think about doing this. If you were perhaps running a business meeting, what you wouldn't do is call out your requests and demands to someone in front of everybody else in the office. So that's why we're going to take them away separately. And I would recommend that you tell them that this particular afternoon you're going to go for a cup of tea together at the local coffee shop, because you've got some things there that you want to discuss now that they are X years old. Now, obviously, if they have a birthday coming up, or they've recently had a birthday, then that's a perfect time to do it. But if not, don't worry. We can go with the 7 3/4 meeting that we need to have. We can go with the 7 years and 7 months chat, if that's what we need to call it. But the key thing is we're taking them away from the rest of the group, and we're going to go off to the coffee shop together, and we're going to sit down and talk through these different responsibilities that you would like them to begin taking on board. So you'll have a cup of tea, they'll have a hot chocolate, something along those lines, and you're going to have an itinerary with you. All right, now this is going to contain no more than 5 things for older children, no more than 3 things for younger children. And your itinerary is going to be the things that you would like to negotiate with them, and the issues that you would like to talk through, just like you would if you were conducting a business meeting. Because here's the thing, if you want them to take this seriously, you've got to behave as if this is a serious issue. There's a really big difference between saying to your child, I want you to make sure that you brush your own teeth in the mornings, and calling that out to them whilst they're on the PlayStation, versus taking them out, sitting them down, having a plan there in front of you and saying, there are some important things I need to talk to you about. And the very first thing on the list is we need to talk about how it is that you're going to start brushing your own teeth in the morning. The reason why it works so well for children and young people to attend therapeutic sessions or coaching sessions with someone like myself or one of the NLP for Kids practitioners is because it's away from the home, and we talk about the issue as if it's a serious issue, and we also negotiate with them around the terms of the changes that they're going to be making in their life. So really, we're just asking you to do the same thing. You're going to take it seriously by putting them in a new location. You're going to have a plan, and you're going to negotiate the points of that plan with them. So if you want them to start taking responsibility for brushing their own teeth in the morning, then instead of saying, I want this from you, you might say, I want this from you. How can we go about making sure that that happens? What can I do to help you? Perhaps I preload your toothbrush with toothpaste so that it reminds you to do it, and then I can double check if you've done it or not. And we'll do it like that for a month, and then we'll review it. Maybe we talk about breaking down that element that we want them to take responsibility for into much smaller chunks, and they just take responsibility for one chunk at a time, piece by piece, rather than the whole thing in one go. So is there a way that we can break this down into smaller, more digestible, easy to follow steps for them? That's what you're going to negotiate together during that conversation. You're also going to give them an opportunity to talk about anything that they might like to change or improve in the classroom, in the home, in their family, in their life, so that they feel like they get heard too. It's the same as you would do if you were running a meeting or an appraisal in an office. You always give, the other person an opportunity to contribute the things that they would like to say so that they feel heard and valued too. So just to reiterate, the reason why we're doing this is because if you want them to take responsibility, you need to treat them responsibly. If you want them to take the problem seriously, you need to talk about the problem in a serious way and not over the top of Cocoa Pops and putting socks on. It needs to be something that is given special attention. We have an opportunity to shine a light on the things that we want to change and improve in a situation, to put a spotlight on it and discuss it and really think it through and hold it up and examine it in ways that can help us to feel like this isn't just something you're enforcing, but is something that we are deliberating over together. So then to seal it in, to lock it in, there's a couple of ways you can do this, and just like you would do in a business meeting, you either get them to sign a contract or you shake on it. You shake hands and you make that agreement together. If you are with a young person who is prone to forgetting the details, either because they're forgetful or because they are conveniently forgetful, you know what I'm saying? So if you've got someone like that, then you write write it down, get it in details, and you get them to sign it, put their signature on it. It does something different to your brain if you are asked to take a finalizing step that demonstrates agreement. And it's also really useful because then if they default on the agreement at some stage in the future, you can go back to that note that of course you have pinned on the fridge, that shows that you had made this agreement with each other and that you were both subscribed to it. And that then you can use it to almost help change and train certain disciplines in their behaviour to keep pulling them back to it. Part of the negotiation that you've had might be that if they do this thing, that there are certain rewards that they're able to access. So they're able then to remind you that actually you agreed we were going to get some rewards because I did this consistently for a week, or whatever else that you might have said. But if you've got it down in writing and you've got it somewhere that's accessible to the both of you, it will help you both remain accountable to sticking with the agreement that you've made. So this is a really simple tactic, but it works so well. So I'd like you to go off and put it into action and let me know how you get on. And you can leave me the results in the comments box down below. Make sure that you also click the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and click the notifications bell so that you get notified the next time I upload one of these videos, and you'll be able to come along and watch that one too. I hope that was super helpful for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!